So, it's been nearly 20 years since the release of Jared Hess's breakout debut comedy, Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite?
Napoleon?
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 Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Your name is Napoleon?
Yes?
On paper, this is a movie about a dorky high school kid in a rural Idaho town who helps his best friend run for class president while looking for love and dealing with his creepy uncle.
Hey, you guys want to see my video?
But if I believed that's all this movie was, I'd be talking about something else. But here we are.
Freaking idiot.
Now, this is a movie that most everybody has either seen or at the very least is familiar with, and while I agree that not every movie has to be some deep and robust metaphor for life or the human condition, I do think that there is an interesting angle for Napoleon Dynamite that hasn't necessarily been explored yet. At least, not by me. Let me explain. Napoleon Dynamite was co-written and directed by Jared Hess, who co-created the character with Jon Heder and Jerusha Hess. At the time, they were just college kids who created the character of Napoleon, although his name was originally Seth, as the subject of a short film for a class project. It wasn't until the short, titled Palooka, was a success at Sundance Film Festival that Jared was convinced to drop out of school and develop a feature-length film based on his character. Now, Hess had never made a feature production before, and let alone dealt with studios and executives in Hollywood, although he was able to secure a very modest $400,000 budget and a casting crew of his friends to help with the shoot.
I got a little project that we might be able to make a little moolah with. Really?
While developing the script, Jared and his wife Jerusha included a large chunk of their own real experiences and characteristics, and have even stated that the movie is, quote, so autobiographical. So, with that being said, let me just ask you this. If you dropped out of school to make your first movie and you had $400,000 of someone else's money to tell your autobiographical story, would you make it a story about nothing?
At the moment, nothing comes to mind.
Probably not. So, join me in today's episode where I watch this film for the millionth time in 20 years and try to determine once and for all, what is Napoleon Dynamite really about? In order for us to figure out what this movie is, we first have to understand what it isn't. Now, I grew up with this movie much like many people, and it has become a sort of comforting and cozy movie for me that I revisit whenever I'm feeling nostalgic. And I'm well aware that trying to force deeper meaning on a feel-good teen comedy can kind of ruin the mood. So I'm not going to be treating this movie as if it's some heady, metaphorical art house drama. I mean, after all, we're talking about a movie that has Dietrich Bader playing a cranky Taekwondo instructor called Rex.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
However, I am going to break down some of the aspects of the movie that I think Jared Hess may have used to deepen the plot of the film, and maybe even learn a little something about himself in the process. And I believe that the way a movie opens can tell us a lot about what the story is trying to say. Napoleon Dynamite is an awkward kid. The film opens with him waiting for the bus to school, and we're given a lot of information in this opening scene. Napoleon's wardrobe and even the house behind him would almost make you think that we're in the 80s, but we're not. It takes place in 2004 when the movie was made, and this shows us that the town our story is set in is slightly behind the times. We'll see more of this throughout the film, with Napoleon using a Betamax machine, a Walkman, a cord telephone, and who could forget my man's moon boots. This is important to the overall style and aesthetic of the film, but it also tells us that the wacky characters in this movie are maybe not living in the now, so to speak.
She's jealous. Says I'm living too much in 82.
When Napoleon gets on the bus, we notice that he's not only the oldest kid there, but he's also the only one on the bus that isn't a child. The first time I saw this movie, I remember laughing my ass off when Napoleon tosses an action figure with a fishing line around it out the window of the bus and just sits there holding it while he drags it across the ground. Maybe this is just a hilarious gag to set the tone of the film, or maybe it's a device to tell us that Napoleon, much like his town and his He-Man action figure, are a little bit behind in life.
Napoleon is this, he's a high school kid who is just a total social outcast. He's completely clueless to what he's really all about. He doesn't know how dorky he is. He's a big dork, a nerd, but he lives in his own world. He lives by his own rules, and he's trying to make friends and survive high school. And, he's like, he thinks everybody's against, and the whole world is against him. So he's always on the defense. He's always trying to defend himself, but Napoleon is all about getting skills. He wants to, you're no one if you don't have nunchuck skills. If you don't know how to draw, you're no one. So he's kind of doing his own thing.
This extends through scenes that establish how much of a loner Napoleon is. He doesn't seem to have any friends at all, in fact, and it may seem at first like he doesn't want friends, as he doesn't exactly like his classmates either, but I think Napoleon does want friends, or at least he wants people to think he's cool. Napoleon, like many of the kids we knew growing up, lies about the strangest and most unbelievable things, and he does not care.
There's like a buttload of gangs at this school. This one gang kept wanting me to join because I'm pretty good with the bow staff.
Now, we've all done some version of this, and why do we do it? Because we want to be seen as what we think is cool, and we want to see ourselves as what we think is cool.
Napoleon, don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day.
With any movie, it's important to establish a character and the thing that they want to achieve by the end of the movie. And Napoleon doesn't want to rob a casino or get booze for a party, he just wants to have some friends in his life. And he's not looking to be the most popular kid in school or be some different, cooler version of himself. He's more or less just a kid with a below average social status looking to catch up to the pack and exist comfortably somewhere in the middle. He wants to have a friend to collaborate with, to lean on, and to have his back.
Rex Kwando, we use the buddy system. No more flying solo. You need somebody watching your back at all times.
It's safe to say that Napoleon just wants the typical high school experience, but he doesn't want to have to change who he is in order to get it. And we're going to talk more about that later. Let's look at some of the movie's other aspects and see if we can extract something that can help us put this whole thing in focus. What happens in the movie? A dorky high school kid wants friends but doesn't have any, and he meets an exchange student who kind of has no choice but to hang out with him, so they become pals. Napoleon lives with his wacky grandma and equally awkward brother, Kip. When grandma goes on an ATV trip to the sand dunes and gets injured, Napoleon's uncle Rico comes to house sit while she recovers, and his arrival turns Napoleon's world upside down. That is a basic summary of what we're in for, which brings me to the next character that I want to break down, the villain of the piece, and maybe my favorite character to cringe at, Uncle Rico.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
So, it's not until Napoleon's Uncle Rico gets to town that Napoleon experiences some of the worst moments of his life, but also some of the best. Uncle Rico is a sort of snake oil door-to-door salesman type who looks like he should be selling used cars in 70s Miami. Rico is not cool, and deep down, he knows he's not cool.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over them mountains?
He lies, cheats, steals, and doesn't seem to care about anybody but himself, but in a lot of ways, he's exactly like Napoleon. They both want their ideal life, and they both want things to become better without having to change anything about themselves to get there. The difference is that Napoleon cares about his friends and the effect that Rico's antics have on their lives.
She pretty much hates me by now.
Why?
Because my Uncle Rico's an idiot.
Now, there are all kinds of bully-type antagonists in this movie, but the only real bad guy here is Rico, so let's see why Napoleon hates him so much. Rico embarrasses Napoleon, but it all seems deeper than that. I think Napoleon sees Rico as a self-serving kind of infection spreading to his family and his outside life. When Rico comes to town, he immediately recruits Kip to help him with his latest hustle and attaches himself to people in Napoleon's life. He's cold, he's creepy, insensitive, cringe, and worst of all, he's got two things that Napoleon wants: a job and confidence.
So we still feeling pretty good about this 32-piece set here?
Rico is kind of a swindler. He pretends to be something that he's not in order to seem cool.
I mean, we gotta look legit, man.
So by serving as a foil to our hero in that way, Napoleon is able to learn that while his uncle might suck, he may also be onto something with being more bold and taking more risks. And that's when Napoleon decides to level up and ask a girl to the dance.
Girls only want boyfriends who have great skills.
Aren't you pretty good at drawing like animals and warriors and stuff?
So I was telling
Joe Blow. Joe Blow.
Yeah. I was telling Jared before that the first time I saw this movie was 20 years ago in a movie theater in Montreal. And the first time I realized this was going to be a big deal was a guy came in wearing a Vote for Pedro shirt. Do you ever get sick of seeing Vote for Pedro shirts?
No. I mean, it's
Hold it out for the masses. They were like, oh, now the people.
as I say, because
They
like,
love you.
You never want to play the villain of a movie,
Yeah.
right? That's hated,
Yeah.
because then people will snicker and stare at you, right? But because Pedro is so resounding, he leads with hope and he has integrity. Everywhere I go around the world, people want to embrace Pedro, and I'm just very fortunate to be a part of a project where it's about inclusion, it's about diversity, it's about telling your stories, of friendship, of family, and the independent filmmaking, right? It's hard making a movie already, so to tell a great story, you got to find some of the basic details that really shape the story. And Jared was able to do that.
How the heck are you gonna do that?
Build a cake or something.
Napoleon Dynamite is a lot of things, but the movie and the character are never fake, meaning they're never putting on a prettier face to tell us something or make an impression, but that doesn't mean that we can't love it for exactly what it is. And at the end of the day, through Napoleon's struggle to make friends, then his struggles to keep those friends while his uncle ruins everybody's lives and eats all their steak,
Too bad. She said she doesn't want you here when she gets back because you've been ruining everybody's lives and eating all our steak.
to eventually realizing that the true meaning of the story and the key to being happy in your own awkward and never perfect life is just to keep being yourself and let the people that accept you find you. And eventually, even in the smallest of towns and even with the strangest of people, everybody can make a friend.
So me and you are pretty much friends by now, right?
Yes.
Watching this movie as an adult, I think I see the character of Napoleon in a more earnest and self-aware kind of way. When I was 12 and laughing my head off at the sight of Napoleon dancing to Jamiroquai's Canned Heat, or nearly pissing myself every time I saw that horrific drawing of Trisha, I still see those scenes as funny, but now I also see them as reassuring.
Pedro, just listen to your heart. That's what I do.
These incredibly hard to watch scenes of awkward connections and dry moments between even drier characters lets me see that what Jared Hess wanted to spend $400,000 and a summer of intense heat and shooting schedules to tell us is that it's okay to embarrass yourself, and it's okay to be embarrassed. In fact, it's better that way. Because when it all comes down to it, we all just want to find our own slice of life. And we all want our friends, no matter how few or how many, to be real and genuine friends. And maybe what Jared Hess wants us to know is that the best way to find those friends is to be real and genuine yourself. Listen to the song that they chose to open the movie with.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Or how about the fact that the opening shot is Napoleon standing alone outside of his house, and the closing shot is him playing tetherball with Deb? Napoleon Dynamite is about friendship. Let's take a quick look at some of Napoleon Dynamite's scenes that best illustrate my point. In the scene where Napoleon lies to his classmates about how he spent his summer, he says this.
What'd you do all last summer again?
I told you, I spent it with my uncle in Alaska hunting wolverines.
That scene is immediately followed by Napoleon being put in a headlock and beat up, almost like punishment for not being himself. The scene where Napoleon lies about having a model for a girlfriend is followed by Rico showing up and essentially sabotaging Napoleon's only chance at getting a real girlfriend. Or how about the scene where Rico tries to sell fake herbal enhancers to Starla and just blatantly gets his ass kicked?
Jeez.
Whenever someone in the film is being fake or not their authentic self, it seems like the character is immediately being punished shortly after. And on the reverse of that, when a character does something wholeheartedly authentic and earnest, it usually works out pretty well. For example, let's look at the film's ending. Kip finally meets LaFonda and the two fall madly in love, and Kip finds his true self. Pedro becomes class president, Rico of course goes back to slumming it in his van, and Deb and Napoleon play a game of tetherball, which is meant to come full circle from the initial scenes of Napoleon playing by himself. Pedro was authentically himself and never tried to impress anyone. Happy ending for him. Kip was literally way too stoked on becoming a cage fighter to be fake in the slightest. Happy ending for him as well. Deb was authentically herself, but secretly lonely and in need of friendship, which she finds in Napoleon and Pedro. And with Rico being a greasy dirtbag, he kind of just goes back to his hole and actually maybe finds love. I don't know. I've actually always been kind of confused by this.
You know, soaking it up in a hot tub with my soulmate.
Now, like I said, I know this isn't groundbreaking information, and I know that Napoleon Dynamite is a wonderfully simple and quirky film that makes us all laugh. But I also think that why it stands the test of time and why it has made such a huge impact all these years later is because no matter who you are or how far you get away from your teenage years, you should always be yourself. And that, my friends, is what Napoleon Dynamite is really about.
Well, I could have told you that.
Wow, happy 20-year anniversary to the cast and crew involved in the making of Napoleon Dynamite, a true cult classic film. Thank you so much for 20 years of wholesome encouragement.
Peace out.
Hello, and welcome to Friday Night Flicks. Hopefully you guys can see me and hear me okay. Let me know if that's the case. I'm going to put on some music as usual, and we are going to get right into the show. You guys are in for a real treat this evening. Let me tell you, I'm excited. How the hell are you guys? I know it's been a week, but this time, instead of flying by like it normally does, it feels like it has been a while. It has been a hot minute since I have been in front of this virtual audience of awesome people. I'm reading your guys' comments now. Thank you all for being here. Ooh, we've already got some suggestions for other videos in the comments. Well, you know, we might have to get to those. But first, welcome to Friday Night Flicks, everybody. My name is Kier Gomes. I'm going to be your host this evening, as with every other week. So if you're coming back, thank you for being here. And if this is your first time, hello, welcome. Big shout out to you. I'd give you a hug if you were here. Hello, Bootzilla is here. Yo, yo, yo. What's up? History Lovers here. Cartoon Man's here. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys all for being here. Let's get my name off of the screen here. We don't need that anymore. You guys, by this point, know who I am. And if you don't, stick around. You'll get a good dose of me. Oh, wow. This is a great little comment to start here. The Danny MB Network, returning viewer. Hello, welcome back. I recently ordered an old-ass DVD for The Mighty, directed by Peter Chelsom. I believe The Mighty is the Kieran Culkin film, where Kieran Culkin plays a boy with, like, crutches, who I think maybe has, like, cerebral palsy or something, and he, like, teams up with, like, the school jock who's got, like, a big body, but he's dumb as shit. And so Kieran Culkin is, like, the brains, and the other kid's the body, and together they're enough for society or something. I believe that's the movie you're talking about. I really hope it is, or else that tangent just kicked us off in a very strange direction. But I think that's the movie you're referring to. Griffin Bryan says, my generation hates Superman. I'm assuming, Griffin Bryan, that you're either a millennial or Gen Z, perhaps. Because I think everybody before you loves Superman. Loves it. All right, yeah, so guys, let's talk about the agenda. Okay, we got a lot going on this evening. A lot of things we're going to talk about. But some of the bigger things that we're gonna get into, there obviously has been some massive blowback to the recently released Superman TV spot. There's also been some what I would consider blowback on the recent announcement of Matthew Lillard joining the cast of Scream 7. We are definitely going to talk about that. In fact, let's kick this off with something for you guys. For those of you that have been speculating for years and years and years that Matthew Lillard was still alive as Stu Macher in the Scream universe, this one here is for you. Let's take a look. I made this just for y'all.
No.
No, I don't at all. That's that's for all the homies that have been true believers that Stu is alive and well out there. We are going to talk about that tonight. I have many thoughts. We're also going to talk about, in addition to the Superman blowback, the potential Scream blowback. We're going to be talking about what movies are going to be advertised at this year's Super Bowl, as well as some general movie news and a little bit of a Sundance recap for those film buffs out there. Okay, we had a few correspondents. Travis and Chris went to Sundance this year. Chris goes like every year. I think Travis does too. So we got some good coverage from Sundance. We'll also go over. Let me take a look at a few comments. Hello, Kojo Asanti. Welcome back. He wants Anthony Mackie Backlash gets weird. Stu Macher returns. Yeah, the Anthony Mackie Backlash. We might talk a little bit about that as well. That got a little weird. For sure. Yeah. Thank you, Kojo. We get it. We get it. Thank you for trying to retitle the stream here. Oof. Hollowfield says instead of Superman face, it's Super Mannequin face. A little bit. We're going to talk all about it, guys. We got so much to cover tonight. It's going to be a good show. And as usual, chuck your comments in the comments. You know, we'll keep the show going. We'll keep some fresh subjects in there. Like, for example, Nails. Great name. Kind of reminds me of like from Scott Pilgrim. His girlfriend's name was just Knives, just Nails. Nails says, just watched The Flash before the stream. I saw it back when it was in theaters, and I think it's aged well as a mainstay on cable. I like it. A little bit of a compliment, mostly an insult. Very funny. I actually was one of the few people that thought the Flash movie, barring the terrible CGI, I thought the movie itself was pretty good. If it wasn't for Ezra Miller and the bad CGI, I think the movie would have been, people would have been a lot nicer to it. But, you know, it is what it is. I think I mentioned this before on a stream, but while we're on the topic of Ezra Miller, and then I'll get off of it. But I remember I saw a funny meme that said, at one point in Hawaii, you were more likely to get assaulted by Ezra Miller than attacked by a shark. And I thought that was so funny. Yeah, the Marvel Backlash in general this week was weird. We'll talk a little bit about all of it. We'll talk a little bit about all of the Marvel drama. I know you guys love it. For the most part, I love it too. You know, it's good to kind of get into some of these, I don't know, more juicy topics, I guess we'll say. More juicy. Let's take a look at some news, shall we? I'm going to share my screen here. There's a few kind of big things that I thought would be fun to talk about, and I kind of want to save those and kind of leak them out as we go through the stream. One, to incentivize you guys to stay on the stream, but two, because I don't want to be just doing a full hour of negative news, okay? So... Koja says, actually, before I do that, I'm going to share my screen, but before I do, this is funny. This is a good question. I just wanted to throw it on here. Which Joe Blow video makes me cry the most? I don't know. Probably the Brendan Fraser video, because one, that was like our big viral thing, but then also I love Brendan Fraser, and knowing that he made a comeback. I think seeing his comeback, seeing his downfall and comeback in one video, proper stuff. You guys should check that video out. Faux show. All right. Now I will share my screen, though. So thank you for the comment or the question, Kojo. Now let's get into some movie news. Okay. So first, let's talk about... just because we have to... let's talk about Superman, okay? Now, I will talk about the main thing that we all want to talk about, but before I do, there has been some action in the lawsuit against this movie already from the Superman estate, okay? Which I believe is still owned by the Salkinds, don't quote me. But they're suing Warner Brothers, and we're going to talk about that because it's interesting. They're upset that the movie's being released internationally, and they're trying to block it from being released in certain places. Will it work? I don't know. Do I care? Yes. And we're gonna get into all of it. But first things first, here's the thing that everybody's talking about, right? And I think it's important that we get to it. This photo, this screenshot right here of Superman. Now, if you're anywhere on the movie, scene online, you've already seen this TV spot. You probably had your own initial thoughts about it, and you probably know what everybody else's thoughts are about it. Well, I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts on all of this, okay? This is fine by my standards. I realized that when this footage came out, and I'm probably going to lose some of you here in terms of like how you feel, but I personally don't think that it's that bad. I know the thumbnail might have misled you a little bit, blah, 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 but we have to do what we have to do here. The whole point is, I think that this is fine. Now, for those of you that don't know, if you've been living under a rock, the beef that people have with what they're seeing here, with this image here to my left, is that Superman looks a little bit cross-eyed in this photo. David Cornsweet looks a little bit cross-eyed in this photo. Now, I'll pull up a bigger image of it so you can see. Let me just get that queued up. I'm not laughing because I think everybody's right. What I'm laughing about is that, let me see, Superman. If I just Google Superman cross-eyed, it's going to be the first image. And that's what upsets me, okay? The blowback that this image has gotten, just this 2-second clip from a TV spot, the blowback that it has gotten is absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. I find it crazy that people are so sold that this movie's going to be bad just off of, a brief clip of Superman flying and maybe not looking completely ideal. But here's the photo. Okay, you guys can see it here. I'll zoom in. Now, I personally don't see like a whole lot of... Can you guys see it better there? Here, let me zoom in a little more. I personally don't see a lot of issues with the shot itself. And nor do many people. I think a lot of people seem to understand that this is not an indication of the quality of the film itself. It's just maybe a little bit of an unflattering shot. So much so that James Gunn himself felt the need to respond to some of the shade that this is getting. How do I feel about this as a whole? I'll tell you, personally, I think that this is the people that already didn't want this movie to happen finding little things to get so fucking pumped and upset about. I don't think anything that happened in that little TV spot is so controversial that it warrants all of us being so stirred up. Now, the reason I'm talking about it is because a lot of people I know are using this as evidence to the quality, or what they speculate on the quality of this movie is going to be. And is that fair? No. No, it's not fair. He looks cross. You know what? I would love to see you guys flying at supersonic speed with the wind hitting you in the face, cold Arctic air hitting you in the face. I'd like to see what your fucking face looks like, okay? I would like to see what your face looks like, man. Okay? John, help me out here. John Fallon, friend and producer of the show. Thank you for being here. I have a Stream Deck, by the way. Once I figure out, I have a Mac, so once I figure out how to get the sounds from here to here, we're going to level up, boys. But John says, people just like to hate for the sake of hating. And I agree. This is a case of people taking the smallest thing and going, this is bullshit, hashtag not my Superman, okay? It's going to be good. It's James Gunn. Has James Gunn ever let you or me down with a superhero movie? And I'm not including Brightburn. He didn't direct the piece, okay? No, he hasn't. The Guardians trilogy was great. The Suicide Squad was pretty good. I like the big kaiju, personally. Look, sorry to get so heated. I just think it's silly, okay? But this led to more internet discourse and people talking about it. And it caused James Gunn to, as you guys know, he does on Twitter, cause him to speak out about what's going on. Now, this was James Gunn's tweet, okay? Well, actually, first, here's what was tweeted to James Gunn. Somebody said, looks dope. Great camera angle of Superman flying. Except there's something with his face that looks a little off. I know there's plenty of time to fix the CG. And then he gave one of these little boys. If I hide, maybe it'll get him focus. He gave one of those. So James Gunn replied to this, and he said, oh, sorry if the camera's too bright, by the way. Let me... I'm showing that I do have sound. Can I please get confirmation that I have sound? Okay, I can't tell if we're back or not, but I'm showing that I have sound and that it is working, and I don't want to dwell on it, but I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. Okay, it's back. Good. I'm moving on. Don't know how that happened. So sorry. We're back. I'm moving on. I won't address it again. So people are upset. They're bummed out about the Superman deal. I think that, listen, yeah, ripping someone's face off at Mach 1, obviously not an option. So maybe the next best thing is David Cornsweet had a big fan blowing in his face while he was filming the sequence, and it came out a little bit, unflattering. But listen, would that change? I've seen people say that this is evidence to why the movie is gonna suck. And I don't think that's the case. I think that if anything, like, you look at a clip like that and you go, it's maybe a little weird. Even I thought it was a little bit like off-putting. I was like, oh, right up in there. Face looks a little weird. But I, for one, had no serious thoughts about the quality of the movie based on any of that. And even on the trailer, which you guys know, the trailer didn't blow me away. And I still have faith that this movie is going to be something special. And I really want to stick to that. So, final thoughts on the Superman Backlash in terms of the test clip. Get over it. Listen, if you don't want to see the movie because you love, other Superman movies and you don't want to see a new one or whatever reason you have, that's fine. But don't let this stop you. Don't let this weird don't let that stop you, okay? If you're still watching this stream while I look like this, then don't let David Cornsweet's eye stop you from going to see Superman. Please. Please. Yeah, it's just 2 seconds. Exactly, history lover. Exactly, man. Yeah. All right, so let's get back to the movie news, okay? I feel that I like, by the way, history lover, thank you for your comment in reference to my rants. You know me. I have many a rants up my sleeve for us today. So yeah, Superman looks a little cross-eyed. Who cares? Nobody gives a shit. Go see the movie and then tell me if you like it or not. But now let's talk a little bit about the Superman lawsuit. Because you know what? Anytime something cool is going to happen, like a big movie that people are looking forward to, there has to be a little flavor of controversy and scandal. I like to say scandal. And in this is no different. Okay, now the rights to Superman are tricky because they were acquired by people who had nothing to do with the character prior to acquiring the rights. As a result, here we are. Check this out. Per Deadline, the estate executor, Mark Warren Perry, filed a lawsuit in federal court in the Southern District of New York City, citing, quote, damages and injunctive relief for defendants' ongoing infringement in Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Australia, as well as declaratory relief establishing the Schuster estate's ownership rights across relevant jurisdictions. What that means is that here, the estate executor, Mark Warren Perry, is trying to ban the movie in Canada, in the UK, in Ireland, and Australia because it infringes on the rights owned by the Schuster estate. Now, of course, Joe Shuster, inventor of Superman. Okay. I don't think this is going to happen. I think the movie is going to release in Canada and the UK and Ireland and Australia. I do not think that this injunction is going to stop the movie from releasing internationally in those countries. I don't think that at all. But it is interesting. Check this out. Some of us are probably saying, how could this happen? The case is complicated, but it boils down to a foreign copyright issue related to the original Superman character and his time-honored origin, co-authored by Jerome Siegel and Shuster. The suit highlights that the duo sold worldwide rights to DC's predecessor in 1938, quote, for a mere $130, $65 each. The copyright laws of countries with the British legal tradition, including Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Australia, contain provisions automatically terminating such assignment 25 years after an author's death, vesting in the Schuster estate that co-authors undivided copyright interest in such countries. That's boring, so I'm not going to make you guys listen to any more of the legal jargon. I'm going to boil that down for you, what that means. They're saying that the owners are dead. The laws in those countries would say that the rights are not owned, or at least not, the rights to these films are not exclusively owned by Warner Brothers in those countries, there are injunctions that could keep the movie from coming out. I don't think that's going to happen. I think whatever Warner Brothers has enough money to where whatever it's going to take to get the full rights to release that movie, they're going to do. They will spend that amount of money because this is the first movie, the first proper theatrical thing in the new DCU. And if they want any chance of it going well, which of course they do want it to succeed, it might not, but they want it to. And if they want that, they will spend the money to acquire the rights and release that shit. Okay. Griffin Bryant says Canada should make their own Superman. Yeah, why not? But you know, Superman's an alien. I know he's American because he landed in Kansas, but he's not from here. You know, who does he know here that you know? Nobody. So in a way, Superman's for everyone, not just the good old US of A. Okay. And speaking of the good old US of A, you guys want to talk a little bit about some of the scandal, or as I say, scrandal, following Anthony Mackie, aka Captain America, this week? Let's pull up an article here. Let's do it. Oops. Anthony Mackie. Now, for those of you that don't know, I might not have a copy of the exact tweet, but Anthony Mackie supposedly made quite a controversial statement. Okay, in relation to his role as Captain America in the upcoming Brave New World film, starring Harrison Ford, Anthony Mackie, and whoever else they can jam into this piece. Okay. Truth, politeness, and the Canadian way. Yes, Kojo, that's what I'm talking about. Or I'm sorry, not Kojo, History Lover. Thank you. So Anthony Mackie recently, he had a quote. I don't want to misquote him, but basically, yeah, here it is. He had a quote saying this on record. Okay, this is what got him in some trouble. He said, "Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Someone who's trustworthy and dependable." Okay, so you guys can see why that might be a little bit of a problem to say. Now, do I think it's that bad? No, but I think it's weird. I do think it's weird that he would say something like this. Now, I'm not going to get political on this show, okay? Maybe on a different show, but not this show. But here's kind of all I have to say. If we're talking the character of Captain America, I do agree that Captain America has values that are bigger than just the US, right? There's things about Captain America that go beyond just being American, you know? Like, for example, integrity, honesty, loyalty, morals, those things exist outside of America as well. They're not just exclusive to us, okay? So I get what he's saying. He's saying Captain America represents more than just America, but instead he says that he doesn't know if representing America is something that Captain America represents. And to that I say, what are we talking about here, man? Yes, it is. Your name is Captain America. Your outfit is stars and stripes, you know? So while I agree, I think that Captain America represents much more than just your typical bullshit America, you know, everything's woke, I hate it, you know, whatever bullshit, you know, whatever. I agree that Captain America is bigger than that trope, but what I don't agree with is that Captain America doesn't represent America. He should represent some kind of America. He's Captain America. He should represent, you know, maybe he should represent a better America, or, you know, I don't know, but, you know, I don't know. So I think that this was taken to a place that people found it offensive. And I'm not saying I don't understand the offense people took to it. They're saying, yo, your name's Captain America. You're like, you know, people associate you. They identify with Captain America as an American character, an American hero. But it's a made-up fucking character in a movie, and it's a movie that most of you guys don't want to see because it's not Chris Evans anyway. So are we really that mad? Do we really care that much? Now, if you were offended by that, I feel for you. I personally, not offended, just think it's a weird statement to make for a character that literally has America in his name. And the origin story was he was a soldier to win the war for America. You know, so kind of let's not get it all the way twisted there, Anthony Mackie. Let's not get it all the way twisted. Well, the backlash led to him having to clarify his opinion. Okay, and his opinion is what it is, but here's the clarification he offered. Okay, and he did this as an Instagram announcement. Real classy move, but he did do it. He says, "Let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world can relate to." So kind of what I was just saying, right? He's kind of saying he's not backtracking. He's strictly saying it's not just that with Captain America. There's things that exceed, you know, whatever. And you know, Joe Blow, we're a Canadian company, so we don't have as much of a stake in the game maybe as some of you guys, but you know, let's keep it real. Okay. Yeah, John, yeah, I don't disagree. John says the movie looks like ass anyway. I think the trailers look cool, but I don't think the movie is going to necessarily be great. Captain Golf, nah. Yeah, I think we should maybe all go a little easy, right? Let's, and I'm reading your guys' comments too. Let's remember this. It's just a fucking movie, okay? It's not that serious. This ain't gonna be something that changes anything it's just a piece of art, or in this case, maybe a piece of Disney exploitation that exists, okay? And am I gonna go see it in theaters? No, but that has nothing to do with anything other than some MCU movies I don't go out to the theaters to see. I don't feel that inclined to keep up with all that's happening in the MCU. Fucking sue me. Sue me. All right, let's talk about a few smaller things, and then I want to get into the Stu Macher situation with Scream, because I know I could tell from the pre-show many of you want to talk about that, and I have things to say. Okay. Okay, let's talk about some of the movies that will and will not be going to the Super Bowl. Here's a list that I was able to... This is everything I was able to find from the Variety article. These are the movies to my left here that have Super Bowl trailers coming this Super Bowl, which for those of you that don't know, I don't know the exact day, but it's like not next Sunday, I think the Sunday after, right? So here's the movies we can look forward to, and then I kind of want to talk about some of the movies that aren't getting trailers this year, which is a bummer. But the big ones, Jurassic World Rebirth. We're finally going to get a look at what this is going to be, okay? One thing that is just constantly kind of confusing to me is why we keep making Jurassic Park movies that are about human characters. I would like to see a Jurassic Park movie or Jurassic World movie, whatever you want to call it, that's about a dinosaur, perhaps. More about a dinosaur. Am I crazy? But anyway, Scarlett Johansson's going to be in the piece. And on the topic of this, so Jurassic World Rebirth is getting a trailer at the Super Bowl. And one thing that I think seems... Thank you. It's the 9th of February. Thank you, 3D Head Creeps. Appreciate you. I'm not a huge football guy. But one thing that I think is interesting is it was announced that a scene from Michael Crichton's book. Michael Crichton wrote the Jurassic Park, the original book. A scene from that book is making its way into the movie, and from the sounds of it, it's going to be a very graphic and gruesome scene, which involves dinosaurs eating a baby. So this could be good. It could finally be a Jurassic Park movie that is properly scary, you know? A random YouTuber with Kiki as the profile picture. Welcome back, first of all, says, Joe Blow is Canadian. Mind blown. Yes, we are a Canadian company. Represent. The last Jurassic Park movie was so bad. Yeah, I didn't like the locust angle. I thought that was just so fucking silly, you know, especially given what we thought the movie was going to be, which was dinosaurs on the mainland. It never fucking gets there. I mean, it gets there, but it never allows you to play in that world. It just goes to the locusts and the secret corporation. So fun, so good. But we're also getting the trailer, or a first look at least, for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. This is a Paramount Plus, or a Paramount movie. Now every time I say a movie studio that has a streaming service, I always end up saying the name of the streaming service. How fucked up is that? What did they do to us? What did they do to us? Yeah, dino-human hybrids. Honestly, I don't know, but yes, probably. That is probably the move. Yeah, Kojo, I agree. The Peter Jackson King Kong movie fucking rules in terms of King Kong fare. That one well, I guess, I don't know. I guess for me, the King Kong movies, there's more good King Kong movies than Godzilla movies, in my opinion. But so we're getting a new Mission Impossible trailer. This is going to be, for those of you again who don't know, it's going to be the final Mission Impossible film, as they say. Whether or not it's actually going to be the final one, we'll see. But I'm excited. I think the last one, it seemed like the last one maybe didn't do it so well at the box office. I think it was like one of the lowest grossing movies for the Mission Impossible franchise. But I thought it was good. I did enjoy it. I think the cast of that movie was really fun. I also think that nearing the end of Ethan Hunt's saga, there was a weight to that last movie where you feel like he's just about out of gas. And it's exciting, and I like it. And, if there's one thing Tom Cruise knows how to do, it's make a Mission Impossible movie. So I'm excited to just see that happen. Kojo says, why do Canadians say about instead of about? And I think it's just the accent that Canadians have, I don't know. What else is coming to the Super Bowl? So Jurassic, of course, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. We have the live action How to Train Your Dragon, which it's been a long time since I've seen the animated How to Train Your Dragon, but I think it looks okay. I think it looks all right. And then we have Megan 2.0, which, I don't know. I thought the first one was okay, not amazing. I think a lot of people liked it more than I did. So this next one, I've heard it gets kind of crazy. I'm kind of excited for that, but I don't know. Then we have the Thunderbolts, which this is kind of where we get into maybe not territory with these next three. We have Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Captain America Brave New World. Now, here's the thing. All we know is that Disney has said that they have 2 TV spots in the Marvel sphere this year. So there's 3 Marvel movies coming out, and they only have TV spots for 2. The 3 movies are Thunderbolts, Captain America, and then Fantastic Four. If I had to guess, I think Thunderbolts will definitely get like a trailer. And the only reason I'm saying that is because that one makes sense. That one hasn't had a marketing push yet. Like, the trailer came out, it was very well received, and there hasn't been a lot of marketing. Fantastic Four, obviously, there's been almost no marketing. There's been no footage released yet. And then Captain America Brave New World, the thing with that is, if the Super Bowl's on the 9th and Brave New World comes out on Valentine's Day the 14th, it would be smart to put a trailer there. But they've already released a couple of trailers. Like, that movie has been heavily promoted already. So I don't know what they're going to do, but one thing that I hope that they do is Fantastic Four. I would like to get a first official footage look at the Fantastic Four. It would really mean a lot to the comic book dork inside of me. Ooh, Kojo, I love this. Small Soldiers from '98, which is a Robert Zemeckis film. If you haven't seen it, super underrated Robert Zemeckis movie. Is better than Megan and scarier. I agree. Small Soldiers kicks ass and is scarier than Megan, for sure. Yeah, Megan 2 should be R-rated. I know that the original cut of the first Megan was supposed to be R-rated, and then it kind of got, washed. So hopefully they unwash this one. Thunderbolts is a sleeper. It looks good. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It looks better than most Marvel movies these days, that's for sure. But how much is that saying? I don't know. You guys want to, before we get into anything else, you guys want to talk about Stu Macher coming back to Scream?
No, I don't.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about the news that Stu Macher, Matthew friggin' Lillard, has been cast along with Scott Foley, who played Roman in Scream 3, in Scream 7. Boy, do I have a lot to say. Not a lot is known about this, okay? It's official that he's in the movie. To what capacity, how they're going to do it, what they're going to do, it's unknown. It's up to just speculation. But I am going to speculate a little bit tonight because I want to. Because I think it's going to be fun. So, Matthew Lillard, for those of you that do not know, it'd be crazy if you didn't know. If you're a movie fan, you're probably a fan of at least the first Scream movie. It's a classic, you know? Especially for people my age, that is, I would say that's like a childhood classic, you know? That's like, well, it's one that'll be nostalgic to me till the day I die. One of my favorite horror movies. Now, so if you don't know, Matthew Lillard in the first film in Scream played Stu Macher, okay? And he was one of the, spoiler alert for the movie that came out, you know, in 96. He was one of the killers at the end of the film, okay? There it is. Now, he dies, sort of. We don't see him necessarily die, but we do see him. We see Sidney push a TV on top of his head. It breaks through the TV, gets electrocuted, and we just assume that he's dead. And we never see him again for the following 5 movies that have come since that first one, okay? So, ever since then, there has been this kind of like, you know, conspiracy theory that Stu is actually still alive and never died, just maybe went to jail and has been behind the scenes, blah, 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 blah. Now, for many people, there was like a case to be made that Stu was always alive and it was always kind of part of the plan to bring him back. Fuck that, dude. They thought Stu died in the first one. And if you want to know how I know, look at the third movie when Scott Foley plays Roman and is like, yeah, it was really me all along. If they really knew that Stu was still alive, they would have put him in that role. Or they would have at least included him in the movie at that point. Or referenced him in one of these other movies along the way. So listen, what do I think? This is what I want you all to tune in for, baby. What do I think about the casting of Matthew Lillard as Stu Macher in Scream 7? I'm going to blow my face up so you can see me nice. It's a stupid fucking idea, and I hate it. Now, let's talk about why. I like Matthew Lillard. For the record, Matthew Lillard is my favorite Ghostface. Of all of the Scream movies, of which I'm a big fan of all of them, my favorite Ghostface, Stu Macher. Favorite. And it's because of that I think this is a stupid fucking idea to bring him back. Listen, he hasn't been around. He wasn't included narratively or in any other way in the Scream franchise past the first movie and maybe a reference or two ever since, right? Of course, there's a few open-ended references because anybody could be alive. But here's why I think it's a really silly idea. This is a clear marketing ploy from Spyglass to try to make up for the fact that they fucked up their franchise when they let go of Melissa Barrera. Melissa Barrera was our new Sidney Prescott, right? You understand that. I love Sidney. Big fan, advocate, one of the best final girls of all time. But she got her happy ending, and we were all happy with that in Scream 6. You remember that line when Courtney Cox goes, "Sidney's at home with Mark. She deserves her happy ending." And everybody in I'm sure this happened to you guys. Everybody in my theater erupted with, "Yeah, Sidney, happy ending." And now all of a sudden we're backtracking. We're taking that all the way back because Spyglass fires Melissa Barrera, can't get back Jenna Ortega, so they get back 2 of the core 4, and then they bring back a shitload of old characters, but then that wasn't enough. So what did they have to do? They had to go, let's bring back the legacy characters that are still alive, your Courtney Cox, your Nev Campbell. And then if we bring back Stu, everybody's going to forget that we jammed up this entire production process and had to switch and pivot at the last minute because we made a fatal error to our franchise. Fuck that. It's a stupid idea. If ever there was a time, for those of you that love to get all uppity about when Hollywood does a cash grab, this is exactly the version. This is, you know what this is? This is the live action remake of an animated film version of slasher cinema. This is the live action Aladdin of slasher cinema. It's a studio taking what they know was successful And when they fuck it up, but without giving it a chance without giving it a chance for there to be a bad movie, they fire somebody. And I'm not saying that it's all bad because they fired Melissa Barrera. They could have saved the movie, but they did the wrong thing. In order to save the movie, you should, I don't know, make an interesting story? Am I crazy? Find an interesting way to write around losing one of your core four. Instead, they go, let's just dial it back. Let's even bring back Kevin Williamson, who co-created the franchise and wrote some of these films, particularly the one we all love the most, the first one. They go, let's bring in Kevin Williamson, but now let's have him direct so people will believe it can't possibly go wrong. Fuck you for doing that, Spyglass, because Kevin Williamson is a great writer. He has written some of the greats. He wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer. By the way, that movie's coming out this year too. He wrote Scream. He wrote The Faculty, one of the most underrated alien invasion films of all time. Kind of a remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I have back here. So they get him. They go, okay, everybody loves Kevin Williamson. He's a slasher icon. Let's have him direct so people will believe us when we say we're doing it right by the creators. I don't think that changed a goddamn thing for me. Having Kevin Williamson directed is one thing. Sure, that's cool. But when I see all of these desperate castings, like they didn't just bring back Stu Macher. You know who else they brought back? Scott Foley. Roman from the third one. Roman, the Ghostface killer that gets shot in the face. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think that they're going to bring them back for either a flashback or those weird, uncanny, de-aged Dexter ghosts that they did for Skeet Ulrich as Billy Loomis in Scream 5 and 6. That's what I think. I don't think Stu is alive. I think they'll probably de-age him and put a flashback, or he is alive and they're still going to de-age him, put a flashback, and then maybe add in a new scene where he's some fucking brilliant Hannibal Lecter in prison. Why would that work? First of all, if you love the character of Stu, then you should be against this. Because if you love the character of Stu, then you know he's not smart enough to have been alive and pulling any strings this whole time. Impossible. If he is alive, he's been in jail rotting. And that's not the justice I want for Stu. I'd rather that Stu had a TV fall on his head and crush his skull, because then Stu, the great character, cannot be tarnished. He's gone, he came, he went, he conquered, he came, he saw, he kicked its ass. I'm getting a little too worked up, so I'm going to answer this question from Kojo. When is Joe Blow going on Hot Ones? Hopefully soon. Sean Evans, hit me up, dude. I love Hot Wings. Look at me. Obviously, my body was made for Hot Wings. It was made by Hot Wings. So, hopefully we'll go on Hot Ones soon. Yeah. This is actual footage of Matthew Lillard when they killed him off in Scream.
I'll be right back.
Oh, this is where the conspiracy theorists are going to jump in and go, see, they planned this ever since the first movie when he said, I'll be right back. He says it twice in that movie. No, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. If they try to say that Stu being alive has always been part of the plan, fuck that. Sorry for the language. Fuck that, dude. It's not been part of the plan. This is a desperate move. Do you know they also cast Patrick Dempsey, but not as Mark Kincaid, the husband of Sydney, which is what we all thought happened? No, they cast him as Mark Kincaid, not Sydney's husband. As in, Sydney's husband is some other guy named Mark. This whole time we thought it was Kincaid from the third movie. And instead, it's not. It's some random guy played by Joel McHale. Joel McHale has entered the Scream arena. Can I tell you guys, candidly, speaking me to you, just from a guy who loves you to hopefully people that love us, I don't like Joel McHale for Scream. I don't want to see Joel McHale in Scream. The Soup, the host of The Soup. He played Chevy Chase. He doesn't belong, you know? Dude, who does he know? Who does he know that was like, yeah, I'll put you in Scream as the main character's husband, which means he's going to have a significant role in the movie. Ugh. You guys see why I wanted to save this towards the end of the stream? Because this topic is annoying, dude. Scream had 6 fucking awesome movies. Maybe 1 or 2 that were less than great, you know, but still pretty good. And then it's just the more I hear about this 7th movie, the more it reeks of desperation. And I don't want this franchise to go down like that. It had such a good run. I want it to stay good. Glindlebro83, thank you for commenting, says Stu Macher's nephew was in Scream 5, but they killed him off early. A huge missed opportunity. Yeah, you know, the thing is, you could always make another Stu's nephew. You know, you could always make more like Machers, you know, like how they made more Meeks kids. They had Chad and what's her name were Randy's niece and nephew. Now you're talking. Here we go. The only Blaboo. The only Blaboo. Thank you for being here. If this is your first time, welcome. Says they need Willem Dafoe in it. Agreed. It's the only way to save your movie is to put Willem Dafoe in it. And I hope they do it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about Scott Foley, who played Roman, Sydney's brother, and Matthew Lillard, who plays Stu Macher? What do you think about them returning to the franchise? I'm against it. I think if I was ever in a position to say whether or not I think a filmmaker is making a mistake, I think it's a mistake for Kevin Williamson to do this and essentially put together just a nostalgia bait bullshit ripoff of his own franchise. I'm not okay with it. Okay, now this is a good point from, I'm going to do my best, Bartholomew O'Mac Dubihemia de Connacht. I nailed that. I know I nailed that, man. But Bartholomew says, I think he'd be good. Who wouldn't want to see Joel McHale getting murdered? I hate Joel McHale, so yes, you know, no, I don't hate Joel McHale. I hate him for Scream. I don't think he's that funny. I don't find him like particularly hilarious. I don't hate him, but for Scream, nah. All right, guys. So that's how I feel about that. I hope you guys, you know, can appreciate it. One other thing that I wanted to do before we get into the final topic of tonight, which is a giveaway, by the way, is I wanted to talk about the Spider-Man cartoon, which adds to the Marvel controversy. I can't believe it, but even cartoons in the superhero sphere get controversial. And what happened was, Thames, the guy who plays, I think his name's like Hunter Thames or something, the guy who plays Peter Parker in What If and this Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon, had a little bit of a snafu, okay? But I think that it's being overblown, okay? He basically said in an interview, they asked him about the first 2 episodes of Spider-Man, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man came out. And if you guys have been following the show, you know I've been looking forward to this cartoon as somebody who does a little bit of animation, but also just as a comic book fan and reader. I've been excited for a new Spider-Man thing that's not related to the MCU. So the first 2 episodes came out, and I was excited. The trailer excited me. The marketing excited me. And I love this new cartoon. I think it's fun. I think it's easy to watch. It's very cozy. It's short. It's repeatable. You could just kind of forget what happened and watch it again. And I like that. And the writing is good. But here's what happened. So Thames did an interview. The voice of Peter Parker did an interview, and he said his biggest fear was that Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was going to be woke and have bad writing, which is weird to say because, one, being woke and bad writing have nothing to do with each other. You can be woke and have bad writing, or you can be woke and have great writing, or you can have great writing that's not woke. Those two are not mutually exclusive in any way. So it's a weird thing to say in general. But then he clarified by saying that the script felt very authentic and nothing felt forced. Because this show, I'm just going to tell you guys, for those of you that know me, this won't come as a surprise, but I'm probably what you would consider woke. There, I said it. Okay, and those of you that know the show probably know that. Look, I'm not here stuffing any agenda down anyone's throat. I just love movies, and I want to love them despite, you know, what color the mermaid is. Okay? But I did think it was weird that he said that he thought it would be woke with bad writing, as if woke meant bad writing, right? And it doesn't. It definitely doesn't. And there was a little bit of backlash, blah, 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 blah. First of all, this cartoon is woke. Spoiler alert, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has a very diverse cast. There's people with different pronouns and sexual orientation, preferences. It's all there. It's all represented, and I like it. I like it a lot. In fact, for Spider-Man and the X-Men, those are two things that I think inherently need to keep an open mind. Am I right? Glindobro says, I make for interesting convo. Thank you so much, and thank you for tuning into the live stream and being part of the convo, Glindobro83. You're a friend. Tom Holland opened up about gay Spider-Man. He agrees that there needs to be more than just straight white guy. I don't disagree, but that's not what this conversation is about. But I agree. There should be more than just straight white guys as superheroes, for sure. Because what about the people that aren't straight white guys that, want to have a superhero that they identify with? What about them? But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. I'm not here to piss you all off that bad. I just want to say the new Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon, number one, I think it's very good. I like it. The music in this show is incredible. They have great music. The intro song, the score, some of the licensed music, it's all very good. I like it. I love the aesthetic. I love the animation. It just looks good. It's very cozy. I like it. All right. Now last things last. Let's do a giveaway, and then I just want to let you guys know what's coming up on Joe Blow Originals this week. I'll let you guys know what videos we have coming up so you know what to get excited about, because I'm excited for what we have in February. But first, let's do a giveaway. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to turn off the music here. For those of you that don't know, our very own Mike Conway, who couldn't be with us on the show tonight, but Mike Conway made us a Joe Blow popcorn bucket. We had a few of you episodes and episodes ago, probably 10 episodes ago, we had people asking, when are we going to get a Joe Blow popcorn bucket? Well, you're lucky, because one of you will be getting it tonight. We made a Joe Blow popcorn bucket. Check it out. Yes, it's real. It exists. Now, we're going to be giving one of these away. So if you want to win one, you can. And I'm going to tell you how. So first, let me just kind of, I want to throw this out there early just so I know I'm not going to forget. Excuse me. We will send you, the winner of tonight's giveaway will get a Joe Blow popcorn bucket sent to you. It will be a full-sized, fully realized Joe Blow popcorn bucket. The one thing we ask, don't eat popcorn out of it, okay? Because this thing was 3D printed with resin and painted and airbrushed. And I don't know. It's probably fine, but I'm requesting, in fact, I'm going to say officially not safe to eat popcorn out of it. Please don't. We will send it to you as a tchotchke, as a nice, kitschy, decorative piece. Please don't eat popcorn out of it. Thank you. Whoa. Okay, also, before we get to the giveaway, I have to acknowledge this. Kojo says that I need a Joe Blow baseball cap. I agree. We should get on that. John, my brother, you're a producer on this show, and the fans demand Joe Blow baseball caps. Maybe there's something we can do to make that happen. And then a random guy also seconded that and says, yeah, we need a Joe Blow ball cap. I'm down. I want one. But first, I want to give you guys a Joe Blow popcorn bucket. So let's do that. I'm so excited. So Mike worked really hard making this, and it looks really cool. He actually made a bunch of these. So eventually, we will be able to give away more of these, or maybe even potentially sell them as merch. But we do have a fully polished one ready to go. And all you have to do if you want to win is tell me, what is an underrated movie, in your opinion, that deserves to be remade? I'm going to pick my favorite response to this. I'm going to give us, a couple of minutes for you guys to get in your responses. I'm going to pick my favorite response, and that person will win the Joe Blow popcorn bucket. But don't worry if you don't win tonight, because we will have other giveaways in the future, and you never know. Some good movie recs in the some great movie recs in the comments. Yeah, I love Something Wild. Cool. All right, guys, what movie should be remade that is underrated? Now, I'm one of those people where I'm kind of like in favor of remakes. I like remakes. You know, even if they suck, like I'm intrigued by the idea that they exist. I just wish they didn't suck when they're bad. Like the Point Break remake was fucked and I hated it. And that really got me off remakes for a while, but now I'm back. Now I'm back. Ooh, this is a good answer. The Only Blaboo says The Shadow. That would make a fucking great remake. That's the kind of movie that you need to remake. You know, that could have a huge hit today. Don't worry, a random YouTuber with Kiki as the profile picture. We will make a Something Wild video essay soon enough. It will happen. Swamp Thing. Hallowfield says Swamp Thing. That would be cool. I think there is already a Swamp Thing in the works, though. So I don't know if I want to count that because it might be happening. They Live. That would be a good one. Young Frankenstein. That would be a good one. You know, I think if you made Young Frankenstein now, it would kind of have like a Warm Bodies flavor to it. Like if you got somebody like Ivan, or not Ivan, right? Like Jason Reitman to direct it, I think that would be cool. Yeah, or Darkman. Darkman would be fucking awesome. I would love a new Darkman movie. The only thing is, would they be able to do it? Would they have the balls? It's like the Toxic Avenger. They remade the Toxic Avenger and they don't have the balls. Nobody has the balls to distribute the movie, so I can't watch it. Predator 2 with Danny Glover. Sick movie. It'd be a weird one to remake. Guyver. That's a good answer, Nails. That's a good one. Ooh, History Lover. The Phantom with Billy Zane. I love that movie. It's a pirate superhero. For those of you that haven't seen it, it's a superhero who's a pirate and wears a purple leotard, and he's played by Billy Zane. And the movie's awesome, and you should watch it. Star Chaser: The Legend of Orin. Oh yeah, the animated film. Okay, I haven't seen it, but okay. Don't worry, a random YouTuber with Kiki as the profile picture. We will do a video on Something Wild eventually. I'm sure it'll happen. You know, we'll come around to all of it. But for now, I want to know what underrated movies you guys would make. Kojo says Apocalypto by Mel Gibson is underrated. Yeah, that's a pretty fucking awesome movie. It doesn't need to be remade, though. Oh, I got it. First time viewer of the live stream, The Only Blaboo says The Rocketeer. I agree. I think this is going to be my winner. I love The Rocketeer. Love it. It's on Disney Plus. If you guys haven't seen that, go watch it. It's on Disney Plus. I would love to see a remake of The Rocketeer, and I think this is our winner. So The Only Blaboo. I hope I'm saying that right, or else I'm just making ridiculous sounds into the microphone, trying to pass it off as a name. All right, so The Rocketeer, I think that's the answer that I'm going to give the award to. So let me pin your comment so that you know you won. I'll give you a minute. The Only Blaboo, The Rocketeer. That would be, I think that's the best answer we've gotten so far. And you can email your shipping information. So email your real name and your shipping address to arrow@joeblow.com. That's the producer of our show. He will make sure that you get your Joe Blow popcorn bucket shipped out stat. And I only ask, when you do get it, please send us a picture of you with the bucket so that we can look at it and share it on the show. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to, but it would be really fucking cool. Okay. All right, guys. So congratulations to the Only Blaboo, our winner. Really appreciate you throwing in your 2 cents. And don't worry, guys, like I said, there will be more giveaways in the future. Now, what I also want to do before we go is I want to let you guys know what to look out for. So we're kind of doing a new, not like a new thing, but we're experimenting with the schedule at Joe Blow. And you guys might have noticed that towards the end of the year, this year, we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's kind of our new thing. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So this Monday, I want to share with you guys, we have a video coming out on one of my favorite heist movies of all time called Matchstick Men, directed by Ridley Scott, who we all know Tyler loves, and starring Nick Cage and Sam Rockwell. So Monday, we've got a video essay on what the fuck happened to Matchstick Men, okay? And then next Wednesday, preceding Matchstick Men, we have a Best Movie You Never Saw, which, as you guys know, that's one on the show that we don't get around to as much as I would like. It's one of my favorite shows on Joe Blow Originals, and we're doing it for District B13. So for those of you that haven't seen that movie, I hadn't either, and that's what makes that video so fun. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. And then this coming Friday, a week from today, we will be covering what the fuck happened to Justin Timberlake. And I am very excited for that because let me tell you, in recent years, things have gotten very fucking weird for Justin Timberlake. So I'm excited. But that's everything I have for you tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, my goal here is just to connect with you guys week over week, build a little bit of a community, and just have people to share interests and hang out and have fun with. And I feel that every single week when I come on to do this, the support gets bigger and better and more warm and fuzzy. And you guys are the best. So we're going to be doing more giveaways in February, so don't worry about that. I will see you guys next Friday for another episode of Friday Night Flicks. And just once again, wish you all a wonderful and safe weekend. That's everything I have for you. Kier Gomes, Joe Blow Originals, signing off. Good night.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening.